Welcome back. You've made it to day 2. I'm going to go ahead and give you a heads up and let you know that today is probably going to be our longest day just because decluttering is a huge topic and there's a lot of things that I want to cover. So please bear with me today. And we're going to talk about anything and everything to do with decluttering, especially the necessity of it. The objective of tidying is to arrange our things neatly and in order. That's much easier to accomplish when we don't have so much stuff. We are going to tackle everything, but please do not get overwhelmed. I know that may be easier said than done, but trust me, if you start with one category or space at a time and do the necessary work, you can do this once and not have to keep coming back to this step. Depending on the amount of stuff you have and the time you have to do it, this step could take a few days to a few weeks, but it is worth doing. Definitely worth doing. You are going to have to do this. And I'm going to do my best to set you up for success, and all you have to do is the rest. So, why is this necessary? Let me just share with you some really startling facts to help put this in perspective of just how much stuff we have. I have pulled this information from becomingminimalist.com. Don't even get me started about talking about minimalism. It's an awesome thing and I can't wait to learn more about it, and I am practicing it like almost constantly. But here are some facts. There are an average of 300,000 items in the average American home, according to LA Times. 25% of people with two-car garages don't have enough room inside to park their cars in them, according to the U.S. Department of Energy. Crazy. There's enough self-storage space in the U.S. that every American could stand at the same time under the canopy of self-storage roofing. Whoa! 3.1% of children live in America, but they own 40% of the toys consumed globally, according to UCLA. Our homes have more television sets than people. Shopping malls outnumber high schools, and Americans spend $1.2 trillion annually on non-essential goods, according to the Wall Street Journal. And also, did you know that over the course of our lifetime, we will spend a total of 3,680 hours, or 153 days, searching for misplaced items? The research found we lose up to 9 items every day, or an accumulative 198,743 in the course of a lifetime. Phones, keys, sunglasses, paperwork, all that top the list, according to the Daily Mail. This is ridiculous. So much stuff. How do these facts make you feel? Don't get me started to think about all the money we could save that we have wasted on all this stuff and put to better use buying things that don't clutter our home in the first place. I believe that we can live, survive, and be happy with much less. People do it in other parts of the world all the time. Maybe because we have so many choices, we end up not being happy even though we keep buying. There's some food for thought. Let's get back to the act of decluttering. Take as much time as you need on this step and be as thorough as possible on the act of decluttering. You're not going to do it all today. You're not maybe going to get it done in a week depending on the size of your house, but you're going to learn how to do it today, and I will give you the tools you need to evaluate the stuff in your life, take inventory, reduce it way down as much as possible. You ready? As humans, we have 4 very basic needs: food, water, clothing, and shelter. Or as Maslow's hierarchy of needs puts it, the physiological needs: food, water, warmth, and rest. Can you put a check beside all of these? As an interesting fact, at each level in his hierarchy of needs chart, owning material possessions doesn't make the list. It's somewhat implied, but not actually mentioned as a necessity. He mentions, after the physiological needs, safety needs, belongingness and love needs, esteem needs, and lastly, self-actualization. These all have to do with feelings and connection with others, not things. So rule 1, meet your basic needs. I know it sounds primitive, but making sure that you have your most basic foundational needs covered is super key. This will help you change your perspective on everything else in and around your home. Hopefully you can see more clearly what is non-essential. Now, obviously, there are things that we need that aren't food, clothing, etc., such as a comb for your hair, some shampoo, some nail clippers, a car to drive to work. You get the picture. Leave the basic necessities in place. Now, if you have 5 different bottles of shampoo because you've tried them all just to find the one you liked better, you don't need to keep all those just because they still have shampoo in them. Somebody else somewhere needs this stuff. They don't need to take up real estate in your bathroom. This moves us on to rule number 2. Getting rid of unnecessary extras. This is what tends to add the most amount of clutter to our homes and our lives. Multiplying items isn't a good thing unless you can figure out how to do that with the cash in your wallet. So, just because one is good doesn't mean you need 2 or 3 or 10. This rule is going to look different for each person. Say, if you're an artist, you may need multiple paintbrushes or pencils. But for those who aren't the crafty type, a large bucket of pencils and craft supplies might not be the best thing to store. So, you can search all over Pinterest, Google, anywhere, and find lists of items that are multiples in your home. That's super easy. And I'm actually going to give you a list that I have compiled so that you don't have to go and search it on your own. It's going to cover things in the kitchen, in the bathroom, in the office, in kids' rooms. I mean, anything and everything you can think of. So, the object of this, of getting rid of unnecessary items, is that, you can bring a more cohesive look to your house. You can find it easier to sort, and you don't have this Mod Podge of stuff. You can slim down to your favorites. Also, my theory is like the less you can dirty in your kitchen, in your bathroom, in your clothing, the less you have to wash. And even if you have to wash more often, you won't be washing nearly as many items at once. You won't have 6 to 10 loads of laundry to do in a weekend. You won't have this ginormous pile of dishes, hopefully, that you have to do because, well, you could always keep going grabbing more from the pantry. Also, you can get rid of anything that you haven't used in a couple of years because the chances are so slim that you're actually going to use it in the future. There's no need to store it. You've been able to do without it this long. Also, there is nothing wrong with asking to borrow from your neighbors when the need arises, or getting disposable items when you have large gatherings. So really take time to assess your inventory. What's something that you haven't used in years? What's something that you don't need that you can let go? That brings me to rule number 3. If you don't use it, lose it. Just don't even keep it anymore. Don't keep that incentive clothing. If you're thinking about, okay, I'm going to keep all these clothes because someday I'm going to get back in this size. If they're taking up space in your closet or taking up storage space somewhere, don't keep them. Treat yourself to a brand new wardrobe when you actually get down to that weight or that size that you want to be. Don't keep them there and kind of putting that extra stress on yourself of, I just need to, because they're still sitting there looking me in the face and telling me and reminding me that I haven't done it yet. You should love yourself as you are. Keep only the clothes that fit you and that you're happy wearing. Pick your absolute favorites. If there's something that you're kind of holding on to that it's not your favorite, but you don't really feel like there's a need to get rid of it, guess what? You need to now, because you're tidying and decluttering your space. Utilize your space. Downsize instead of trying to make more space for stuff. So, if you don't use it, lose it. Rule number 4, keep what's truly meaningful. When you find the things that have so much more meaning and value in your life, let those be the things that you use most often. Let those be the clothes you wear more often. I see so many people get hung up on not getting rid of items that are cluttering their home due to a value they've placed on it, whether it's a sentimental value or the fact that they paid money for it and they just don't feel they've gotten that value out of it yet and they just can't seem to let it go. That, my friends, is a sinking ship. Literally. Just because someone gave something to you or you paid for it doesn't mean you need to keep it. If it no longer serves you and you don't get any joy from it and there isn't any benefit to keeping it, let it go. Be grateful for whatever purpose it served. If it was the fact that it was a gift given from someone special, or if you were only delighted at the time you purchased it. Gratitude makes some things so much easier to part with. Any gift or purchase that's causing unwanted and stressful clutter in your home isn't a gift worth keeping. Like you determined yesterday, know what you want your home to feel like and look like. You've got your vision of your sanctuary. It's only going to become that place that you enjoy being in when the things that you have around you bring meaning and joy to your life. You don't need anything sitting around or coming to mind that weighs you down. So, have fun decluttering. The more you can discard, the more points you're going to get. Just think of the stress-free atmosphere you are creating. Keep your vision forefront. Have fun, because in this act of decluttering, you're going to find what's more meaningful to you and bring that forefront. You're going to get rid of all the things that don't bring joy, that don't bring value to your life. So lastly, my last rule, have a deadline. This is so super important, because if you just think, I'm gonna declutter, I know it's gonna take some time, I'll get around to it, chances are it's a lot less likely to actually happen. So you heard me, have a deadline. The idea of cluttering is all well and good, but I don't want you to drag it on for too long. I don't want you to take forever to actually get it done. Our objective here is to get a lot done. Remember I said that the average American home has about 300,000 items? If you only got rid of 10 items a day, do the math. Do you realize how long it would take you to get rid of a third of that? That would take you 27 years if you got rid of 10 items a day. I don't want to spend 27 years of my life decluttering my home when I can do that in a lot less time. So, give yourself a deadline on this stuff. We don't need to procrastinate, or laziness is going to creep in. It's so easy to lose momentum from time to time. So keep yourself progressing forward. Put a deadline in place for your entire house to be decluttered. Put yourself on a timer when decluttering to spend a solid hour or two on a weeknight, or several hours on a weekend. Put a deadline on getting your discarded items out of the house within 2 weeks after you've decluttered, or after you've filled up as many boxes or bags that will fit in your trunk of your car or the back of your truck. So, really be intentional. Put a deadline on yourself, because that's going to press you to get this decluttering done so much sooner. And here are the 3 final things you need to know when you are decluttering. You have some choices on what to do with your items that you decide to let go of. You have somewhere that these items can go. 1, you can trash or recycle a lot of things. There's so much in our house that can be paper clutter, that can be, who knows what. If it's recyclable, do that. If it's just plain old trash, throw it away, burn it, whatever. 2, donate or give away. If you know of someone in need of certain items, like say you went from having 20 bathroom towels to your 5 favorites, or you made sure that everybody in your house had at least 2 bath towels instead of having like way too many, take the extras, donate them. You can donate them to possibly a food pantry that maybe collects home goods for those that are homeless or that have lost their house due to a fire or whatever. You can give them away to maybe a family that you know of that needs it. Or you can just simply donate it to someplace like Goodwill or Salvation Army or whatever place like that locally. And then last, you have the option to sell your stuff. You can sell it so much easier now because we have Facebook Marketplace, we have Craigslist, we have so many online selling tools, and we even have yard sales. If you want to do a big old yard sale and collect everything and try to sell it, great. Just make sure that you push to get that stuff out, and whatever does not sell, do something else with. Another way that I like to sell is through consignment, because I feel like that helps somebody locally within my town, but it also helps me because I don't have to do all the work to trying to sell whatever it is that I want to get rid of. I'm able to just hand it off to them. I know I'll get a commission getting something for it instead of just donating it and giving it away. Sometimes it's kind of nice because that's extra money that is going back in my pocket that I can use for other things. So, trash or recycle, donate or give away, sell or consign. All right, So now that you know all of this, today's homework, decide how and when you are going to declutter. Write down the 5 rules and decide when you're going to do these things, how you're going to declutter your home. Set boundaries of time, set categories or spaces that you're going to work through. Make a plan for getting this work done. Get specific on how you're going to get these items out of your home using the 3 methods that I just mentioned: trashing or recycling, donating or giving away, consigning or selling. Know where you are taking them so that you can remove them as soon as possible. If it's too much for you to hassle with taking photos and posting them online, by all means, find someone who has a consignment store and will take this and sell for you. So, we're going to get really super specific. I'm not going to talk too much more about decluttering because it's all a matter of just going over the 5 rules, which were, and I will repeat them for you. Rule 1, meet your basic needs. Make sure you have your basic needs met. Rule 2, get rid of unnecessary extras. Anything that you have duplicates of that you don't need. If you have 50 cups in the pantry and there's only you and 3 or 4 or 5 others, how many are in your household? Divide accordingly. We don't need to keep all these unnecessary extras. So pick your absolute favorites. If you don't use it, lose it. Whatever we haven't used in however long. If it's something that you should have used within 3 months, if you're not using it, get rid of it. If it's something you haven't used in 3 years, 10 years, whatever it is, it doesn't need to be taking up storage realty in your space. Rule number 4, keep what's truly meaningful. Keep what's meaningful. If something that you're like, well, I'll keep it just so I might have it in the future. We're not keeping things just in case. If it's books that you're like, well, I might read that again, I don't know, chances are your library is going to have it. You can find it on audio. You can find an ebook. Same thing with DVDs. So many things is going away from DVDs and being all digital now. You can find ways to declutter there. Last, have a deadline. Put a deadline on yourself, because if you're not going to have an end goal of when you're going to have this done, chances are you're not going to do it. So take time to do today's homework. I'll have some PDFs you can download to kind of help you with lots of different things, and then I will see you tomorrow.